Hi, welcome to our Pharma Topics channel. Welcome to the ninth series of BPharm fifth semester portions, pharmacology portions. This is related to the diuretics and antidiuretics of Unit 2. The other 8 series I will give in the link in the description box. Kindly go through it, make use of it and score well in your exams. Let us go into the video. Classify diuretics. They are high efficacy diuretics. They are the drugs inhibiting sodium potassium 2 chloride symporter in the loop of Henle. They are called loop diuretics. Furosemide, torocimide, bumetanide, and ethacrynic acid. Then medium efficacy diuretics. They are the drugs inhibiting sodium chloride symporter in the distal convoluted tubule. They are called thiazide diuretics. Chlorothiazide, hydrochlorothiazide, bendroflumethiazide, indapamide. Then low efficacy diuretics, the drugs inhibiting epithelial sodium channels in the distal tubule and collecting duct. They are potassium sparing diuretics, amiloride, triamterene, and aldosterone antagonists acting in the distal tubule and collecting duct. They are potassium sparing diuretics such as spironolactone and eplerenone. Then osmotic diuretics, they act at the loop of Henle. It is mannitol and carbonic anhydrase inhibitors acting at the proximal convoluted tubule, astazolamide, methazolamide. So in this classification, you can see the efficacy, you can see the mechanism, you can see the site of action. So this classification is based on efficacy, site of action and mechanism of action. So first is pharmacology of thiazide diuretics. Efficacy, it is a medium efficacy diuretic. Classification, thiazide diuretics, hydrochlorothiazide. They have thiazide-like effects. They are chlorothalidone, indapamide, metolazone. Mechanism, they inhibit the sodium chloride symporter in the early portion of distal tubule of nephrons, which leads to moderate natriuretic effect. That is elimination of sodium and water. Thiazides increase magnesium excretion and decrease calcium excretion. Therapeutic uses, they are the first choice drugs in case of hypertension, edema associated with heart failure, cirrhosis, corticosteroid therapy, estrogen therapy, and renal disorders such as nephrotic syndrome. Nephrolithiasis associated with hypercalciuria. They are used in treatment of nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. Adverse effects of thiazide diuretics are electrolyte imbalances, hypokalemia, metabolic alkalosis, metabolic abnormalities such as elevated blood glucose, elevated uric acid levels, and elevated lipid levels. Drug interactions, thiazides increase the digoxin toxicity. Thiazides, when they are clubbed with NSAIDs, it reduces the antihypertensive effect of thiazides. Thiazides increase the lithium toxicity when clubbed along with it. Next is loop diuretics. They are called high efficacy or high ceiling diuretics. They are classified into sulfonamide loop diuretics such as furosemide, torocimide, and bumetanide. Non-sulfonamide loop diuretic is ethacrynic acid. Mechanism, it inhibits sodium potassium 2 chloride symporter in the ascending limb of loop of Henle, which leads to powerful natriuretic effect. Loop diuretics increase potassium, magnesium, and calcium excretion. You may remember loop loses calcium. Thiazides, they retain the calcium. They are preferred diuretics in treatment of patients with renal impairment. Ethacrynic acid is a preferred diuretic in patients who have sulfa allergy because it's a non-sulfonamide loop diuretic. Therapeutic uses of loop diuretics are pulmonary edema, edema associated with heart failure, cirrhosis, corticosteroid therapy, estrogen therapy, and renal disorders such as nephrotic syndrome. They are used in treatment of hypercalcemia. Adverse effects, they are used, they cause electrolyte disturbances such as hypokalemia, hypomagnesemia, hypocalcemia, and metabolic alkalosis. And metabolic abnormalities, elevated blood glucose and uric acid. Ototoxicity is common with the loop diuretics. They are tinnitus, ear pain, vertigo, and hearing defects. Drug interactions, loop diuretics increase the digoxin toxicity. Loop diuretics, when they are clubbed with NSAIDs, it reduces the antihypertensive effect of loop diuretics. They increase the lithium toxicity. And with aminoglycosides, the ototoxicity is increased and nephrotoxicity is increased. Ethacrynic acid is the most ototoxic loop diuretic. Next is potassium sparing diuretics. They are low efficacy diuretics. The diuretic effect is low. Classification, there are two kinds: epithelial sodium channel inhibitors, amiloride triamterene, aldosterone antagonist, spironolactone, and eplerenone. That is, first we will see about epithelial sodium channel inhibitors. These drugs inhibit epithelial sodium channels in the late distal tubules of the collecting tubule of nephrons. They produce a modest natriuretic effect. These drugs reduce potassium excretion. Say they are used to prevent and treat hypokalemia induced by thiazide and loop diuretics. Amiloride is the drug of choice for lithium-induced diabetes insipidus. Adverse effects: hyperkalemia, but it is unlikely. Drug interactions: they should not be combined with potassium supplements or angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors or angiotensin receptor blockers, because it increases the risk of hyperkalemia. Next is aldosterone antagonists. They block the aldosterone binding to mineralocorticoid receptor in the epithelial cells of late distal tubule and collecting duct, which exert a modest or low natriuretic effect. Therapeutic uses reduce the edema when the aldosterone levels are high, such as in hepatic cirrhosis, congestive heart failure, and nephrotic syndrome. Adverse effects: spironolactone has anti-androgenic effects that lead to gynecomastia and impotence. These drugs also cause hyperkalemia, similar to epithelial sodium channel inhibitors. Next is osmotic diuretics. They are mannitol and glycerol. Mannitol is very commonly used. Mechanism: it is filtered in the glomerulus after intravenous administration. It's not reabsorbed. It attracts and retains water, thus it exerts the diuretic effect. It increases the osmotic pressure of plasma and thereby attract water from the interstitial and transcellular fluids. The diuretic effect of mannitol improves renal function. It's useful in oliguric phase of renal failure. Therapeutic uses: they are used to maintain the glomerular filtration rate in impending renal failure, maintain the renal function, and reduce the renal toxicity of cisplatin-induced nephrotoxicity. It is used in treatment of cerebral edema and reduce intracranial pressure. Mannitol IV is also used in treatment of glaucoma. Oral glycerol is also used for treatment of glaucoma. Adverse effects: it may cause excessive plasma volume. Too rapid infusion or co-administration with a large volume of intravenous fluids can lead to heart failure and pulmonary congestion. Next is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. They are acetazolamide, brinzolamide, and dorzolamide. They are non-competitive reversible carbonic anhydrase inhibitors in the proximal convoluted tubules of nephrons. They are used in mountain sickness or high altitude sickness, treatment of glaucoma and epilepsy during the menstrual cycle, and catamenial epilepsy. Adverse effects are drowsiness, paresthesia, and CNS effects. Then antidiuretics. First is terlipressin. It is a V1 and V2 agonist. V1 is V1 receptors are present in the blood vessels, and V2 in the renal tract. It's used to stop bleeding in the esophageal varices. Next is desmopressin. It is a V2 agonist. It's the drug of choice for central diabetes insipidus, nocturnal enuresis. For nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, the drug of choice is thiazide diuretics. So for central diabetes insipidus, it is desmopressin. It's used for nocturnal enuresis and to check bleeding in patients with hemophilia and von Willebrand disease. Next is a note on tolvaptan or conivaptan. It is a V1A and a V2 antagonist. It is used to treat hyponatremia due to congestive heart failure and cirrhosis of liver or syndrome of inappropriate ADH secretion. So it's a very short useful information of diuretics and antidiuretics. I hope it will be useful for your exam preparation. Thank you for listening. Happy learning. If you like this video, kindly press the like button. Kindly subscribe to our Pharma Topics channel for further updates. Go through all the series which is present in this B.Pharm 5th semester preparation. and score more in your exams. Thank you.